There's a box in the middle of my street, and I'm pretty sure it just ate my neighbor. I don't know how it got there. The street was empty last night when I got home from work. It was there when I woke up this morning, just sitting in the middle of the street. It looked like a plain cardboard moving box. Just some trash that fell out of a truck or something. I was looking at it out of my front door when my neighbor, Todd, called over from his porch and asked if it was mine. Nope, probably just some trash someone lost, I said. I'm gonna go check it out and see. Might have some stuff in it that someone might want back, he said. I'm gonna go check and see. Might have some stuff in it that someone might want back, he said. He started walking over to the box, looking to make sure no cars were coming. It was sitting right in the median. We lived in a pretty quiet neighborhood, close to the back, so there wasn't much traffic going through. No one had probably noticed it yet. Maybe someone would come back to claim it later. As Todd approached the box, he pulled out an old pocket knife he always kept on him. He leaned over the box, cutting the tape on both sides, then slicing down the middle, splitting open the flaps. Whatever is in here, it stinks to high heaven, he shouted back at me. Smells like something died. Probably a dead body someone dropped off, I joked. If it is, you're the one dealing with the police. I don't have time for that shit. He turned back to the box, grabbing the two top flaps and pulling them up. What the hell? He said as he opened it further. Well, what is it? I asked. If it's money, I'll gladly take it and find a safe home for it. No, it's some kind of animal, I think, he said as he leaned closer to the box. Everything that happened next came in the blink of an eye. I saw a ton of tendrils come out of the box, grab Todd and pull him in quickly. I swear I heard his bones crush as he was forced into it. What the fuck, I shouted. Todd, are you okay? The next thing that happened was a geyser of blood erupting out of the box, sprayed almost 20 feet into the air, coming back down and blanketing the entire road in red. I fell straight on my ass, backing up to my front door. Jesus Christ, what could have done that? I was still sitting there when a truck pulled up, and a small, frail old man came out of the driver's side. He didn't seem to pay any attention to all the blood on the ground around him. Oh, you found my old keepsakes, he said, looking over at me. I got these back in the war. Saved me and a few others from a whole bunch of trouble. Looks like they had a bit of a snack. That's unfortunate. He put the box in the back of the truck, waving to me as he got back into the driver's seat. A few minutes later, I found the strength to get up and go back inside. I just got off the phone with Todd's wife. She says she hasn't seen him since this morning and is getting worried. Also asked me if I saw what had gotten hit in the street. Said it must have been a pretty big animal to make a mess like that. I don't know what to tell her. For his 6th birthday, my husband and I decided to get our son a beginner's pottery set. He was always a creative child, so we thought he would have fun with it and create some memories we can preserve and admire in the future. The look on his face when he unwrapped it nearly made me cry. His eyes lit up as he ripped open the box and pulled out all the contents, examining them with a huge grin on his face. Afterwards, he immediately got to work. His product started out as simple yet beautiful. Always. My husband was an artist and had shown him tips and tricks as his interest in art bloomed. A few we even used as decorations in our living room. But then they started to get more elaborate. What once seemed to be floral patterns turned into skulls. I thought maybe it was what he was watching on TV, or maybe he'd sneak and watch horror movies we had rented. I decided to ask him about it, and he just said, "It's okay, Mommy. It's still very pretty." I agreed, not wanting to hurt his feelings or make him feel his views were wrong. I had assured myself and my husband that it was just a phase, and would rather he be interested in the skeletal system than running around cursing like the neighbor's kids. My son still seemed proud of his projects, running over to us and asking us to bake it for him so he can put it in his room. However, one day he ran out of clay. He came banging on our bedroom door in the middle of the night, freaking out about it. Clay all over his hands and tears pouring down his face. When we tried to reassure him that we would go buy him more in the morning, it didn't stop his fit. After an hour of it, my husband decided to just try to get him to go back to bed. My husband picked him up as he flailed around, still crying, and walked him to his room. Apparently, he had been working all night. Faces, our faces, his face, the neighbor's kids' faces, all sculpted down to the detail. It didn't look like a 6-year-old's depictions either, but more of someone who's been sculpting for years. I was in shock, shaking at the sight. Part of me wanted to be proud, but part of me was unnerved. I couldn't put my finger on why until I noticed that one of the sculptures was my mother's face, along with my baby brother. But they were long dead before my son was even born. And all of the pictures of them were in scrapbooks at my sister's house in Maine. I couldn't move, only being able to look around. My son stopped squirming, only to look around the room as well, except with a hint of pride in his eyes. How did he do this? Mommy, do you like them? My heart felt like it stopped, and my mouth felt dry as I looked at my now smiling son. How did you do all of this? My son smiled innocently, even giggling a little. My husband's arms were now shaking, but his arms were still stuck wrapped around our son. I was chilled to the very core when I heard him say, "He helped me, Mommy. He helps everybody." His small fingers pointed to the red door beside his dresser. "Get him out of here now," I whispered to my husband, quickly handing me our son. I nodded and ran out of the house, pulling our dog with us, who was also in a state of panic. I looked down into my arms to see my son's look of confusion. I called the police and told them everything, and they arrived a few minutes later. However, they did not believe my story. I was put into a psych ward after a long trial. Apparently, my husband was nowhere to be found in the house, and the clay sculptures were all gone. No matter how many times I said it, they wouldn't believe me. Something went terribly wrong. My son didn't make those sculptures. My son didn't ever meet or see what my mother and brother looked like because they died in a car crash when I was only 13. My son's room also didn't have a red door. Thank you for listening to my latest video, and a huge thank you to the Reddit authors Sida Saturn 009 and Googly Eyes 93 for allowing me to use their stories in this video.